somebody asked me if I wore sunscreen today, and I said, no, I really try to eat my sunscreen. And they were like, what? What are you talking about? Well, I try to eat those amino acids and fatty acids so that my body can convert the solar energy, so I can use the solar energy and not burn. It'll turn into a tan. And I really, in the process, when they asked about that, I said I really try and cut out the seed oils because that'll also cause us to burn. So being able to use the sunlight as as solar energy is like super potent. It's super powerful. If you're aging, if you're struggling with mental health, if you're struggling with mitochondrial disease, so if you have like your hormones are off balance, or if you're struggling from chronic fatigue, your mitochondrial functioning is down, as that's our basic energy functioning. And solar energy is one of the #1 ways to tickle and stimulate those mitochondria to get them rolling again. It's also one of the best ways to help us break down that animal protein, right? The amino acids, the important amino acids like tryptophan, that are going to help build serotonin and melatonin for nighttime, again feeding into this daily circadian rhythm that we have. So yeah, I told him, I was like, I eat my sunscreen because when I am eating those amino acids and fatty acids, I am building up the strength of my cellular membrane. This cellular membrane is what is protecting my body from undergoing too much oxidation. Again, when we are eating a lot of the oils, those fats are actually destroying the membrane of the cell. So going back into my college years, when my body, when I was going through some insulin resistance, my body was not in the place where I was a very weak point in my life. And then too, I had a lot of seed oils in my diet. So I remember like trying to go out and tan when I was in college, and I would just fry, I would just burn. And I probably went out at the wrong times of the day too. I went out like for the first time at like 1 or 2 p.m., which is crazy because that is a lot of UV at that time of the day. But I didn't understand how our bodies use solar energy, and also how our food is the biggest and best protective mechanism that we have against the sun, especially if you have a lot of seed oils in your diet, because we know that it's going to cause us to burn more. It's very interesting too, a lot of the sunscreens and the chapsticks, they'll have these oils in them. So it's so important right now to start becoming aware of like your deodorants, especially women. Like our breast cancer rates are so high. Do these deodorants that we're using, like, do they have aluminum? Do they have all these perfumes in them that are related to elevated levels of cancer risk? Like, right, we want to be kind of cognizant about the stuff that we're using. Sunscreen, toothpaste, deodorants. Like the toothpaste, do I have fluoride in there? We know fluoride is disturbing our calcium levels and things like pineal gland functioning. So we don't want to be disturbing these major hormone glands, and we also don't want to be destroying our cellular functioning. So always, as always, eating your sunscreen is the best way to start using your solar energy, right? One of the biggest things I talk about is tryptophan breaking down into serotonin and melatonin, and this is our daily circadian rhythm cycle. And when I go into the sun, so cool, I'm breaking down tryptophan even more so. So I'm helping my body use this energy, and I'm using the sunlight as solar energy just like plants do. And it's just a beautiful process. We're moving plants where we have a little bit more difficult of a situation going down with our metabolism, but we're very similar to plants, and we need sunlight. Sunlight is a required nutrient. And if you think about this, we would not be on this earth if the sun did not exist. We would not be on this earth. I always say depression doesn't like sunlight, so you definitely want to get out there, because we're all going to become susceptible to depression. Especially, that's the aging process, is a depression in energy. So if we have depression earlier in life, we will face accelerated aging, which we know very, very well by now. So yeah, eating the sunscreen. And I think the other thing I want to mention before we shut this one down is the amino acids and the animal protein. If you are really, really trying to heal the body and put on muscle, in terms of this intake and depletion rate, in terms of calories, which I don't like to talk about most of the time, These animal-based proteins, these whole form animal-based proteins that we're going to get in the diet, is the highest nutrient content and the lowest caloric content. If we want to heal the body, we want to give it the highest amount of amino acids that we can put in without having it to work so hard. We want to increase our rate of return. So it is so important when you are choosing your food, when you're trying to heal the body, that you have your sights set for what foods are going to be the most valuable. And then you have to go a little bit deeper and start looking into the chemistry for yourself. I guess you can't explain word of mouth. There's so much that goes on, but there's a reason that the keto diet was discovered to treat epileptic seizures for the brain. It's also used to treat PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and Alzheimer's dementia. So looking into why is it that a high fat and protein diet is so good for the brain and the body, simply it's the best way to stimulate those mitochondria. And if you're struggling with your hormones or struggling with anything in life, if you're going through the aging process, you are losing your mitochondrial functioning. And we want to regain and stick with this mitochondrial functioning, because that is the source of our light. That is the source of our energy within the cell. That is where we're going to make the bulk of our energy. And if we're low on energy, it is usually because there's something going on with our little mitochondria. So we got to think about them like little house plants, little pets, like a little toddler running around. Look here, we got to brush our teeth before we go to bed. It's time to eat. You've got to eat something healthy so that you can grow strong. This is the conversation that we want to be having with ourselves. We want to treat ourselves like we are precious, because your body is precious, and we don't realize how precious our health is until we lose it. And so if you're watching this and you've never had a health scare, if you've never struggled with your health, take this opportunity to be thankful and, work always to prevent any sort of disease by keeping your circadian rhythm on track and giving your immune system, your body, plenty of what it needs to protect yourself from the sun, to use the solar energy, to exercise, to show up more vibrant and healthy. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Eat your sunscreen, live life. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, good luck. I do have my Venmo down below if you want to donate. I really appreciate all donations. And until next time.